Good afternoon, everybody. Happy lunchtime, I guess, for my friends here at Pennsic. We're at Pennsic. Welcome to Kal-bardr's Corner for this very special live episode from Pennsic 50. I am Baron Kal-bardr Gallic, painting the Meridian Cross, painting the Argent Comic, painting the Pilgrim Stark, painting of the Palmer's Lantern and Reaper, and Defender of the West. I'm so close. Coming to you live from the One Paw Tiger Inn in the Midlands Camp, block N21 at Pennsic 50. Holy crap, it's been a week. So we're here live. I have people around me. Everybody say hi around me.
Hi around me.
There we go. There will be people cycling in and out to share their lovely Pennsic stories. If you are at Pennsic and not here, what are you doing wrong? We got coffee, we've got tea, we've got all sorts of fun stuff. Come hang out with us and tell your stories. If you're out there watching live and not at Pennsic, I'm sorry for you, but let us know you're watching. Tell us in the comments over in the chat. I just pointed things. I have no clue. I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. 2 years now.
Pretty much.
I have no clue anything is. No clue. So if you're out there listening, say hi. Tell us you're there. Also ask questions. If you have a fun Pennsic question, let us know. All right. So today's show is, of course, always coffee themed, or in this case, today it is tea themed for me. So we do have coffee on tap from the One Paw Tiger Inn, which I'm sure Patrona will tell us what got brewed when she's on in a minute. But first up, I'm going to talk about the Griffin's Tea. It's one of the vendors here at Pennsic. I ran down there literally an hour and a half ago and said, oh God, I've got a show, oh God. And they brewed me up a red Cambro full of Baroness's Blend black tea, which is friggin' delightful and smells like bergamot and loveliness. So if you're at Pennsic, check out the Griffin's Tea. They have all sorts of hot and cold teas and creamer options, and they are amazingly good people. I have spent entirely too much money there this war so far, to the point they're giving me the friends and family discount now. I've been there that much. So anywho, but Baroness's Blend, and of course, out of my awesome Kal-bardr's Corner mug from, her name is Anya. I never remember her father name, but she's from out west and she is awesome. And Katrina Yarborough got this for me and I love it. It has been my ultimate walking Pennsic mug. So there are other mugs about we'll talk about as they cycle through camera. So anywho. Oh, that's good stuff. I'm gonna need a minute. It's very hot. They joke about, we're from Mobile. We're from Alabama. It's hot there. We came to Pennsic and was like, it's not that bad. It's like less bad than Mobile. And then it got hotter again, and I'm not a fan anymore. So, and then I had to run and get ice at the other end of the world, which apparently is only this much of Pennsic. So, anyhow. All right. So it's story time for those watching. And I have a lovely first guest for today who frequent watchers of Kal-bardr's Corner will recognize as the host of Look Inside Youth Activities. It's Gareth.
Hey, I'm in person finally.
Look, we have legs. They're dished down there.
In the same place.
Yeah. Look, we got each other. It's actually only the second time we've been in the same physical location.
Yes.
Because I watched you drum for. Is that the corner? No, it's for Sean's thing, wasn't it? You drum
for
his Pelevation or for the
for
coronation. Sophia's thing. That's right.
Yep.
Which is really cool. I enjoy seeing different cultures, things put into elevations like that in different kingdom cultures. And that was the first time I've seen drumming like that done in one. And I was thoroughly impressed, mostly because of the visual. And you can't see, there's a picture of it somewhere. This crazy woman on a table with a drum and like the Viking beads hanging, just badges. I was like, that's fucking cool looking. So it made the feel right. So Izzy, for those who don't know, you can introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and why you're awesome.
Well, I don't know why I'm awesome at all.
Jermaine can tell us if not.
Jermaine can tell me, but she likes to tell me. But I am Isgarth Bjargir daughter, or also Isa Atabala, Isa the drummer, Izzy from Kingdom of Artemisia. And yes, I'm the host of during the couple of years ago, we were doing
COVID reigns.
Yeah, during the COVID reigns, I did a look inside youth activities. I'm also a bard, so this year we're going to embark on a look inside bardic activities.
I love it.
We're really excited about that. Got some good shows planned, and a couple of people who are very, very, very deep into the whole history of bards and just some fun stuff too. So
bardic is a culture that I often end up missing the fires because I don't sit still long enough. So I miss a lot of the fun bardic things. I finally hit a couple at a couple past events where I had nothing to do, surprisingly. There's a whole like culture around that. There's like rules and stuff. And I was like, I don't understand any of this going on.
Well, there's so many different things that are bardic. Like we actually have a Laurel now for magic. And he's amazing.
Hi, Aslak. We love you.
Hi, Aslak.
He's usually out there watching.
Yeah, he is amazing. And you know, you've got the storytellers, you've got the people who are doing instruments, you've got singers, you've got filk artists that are writing their own stuff, you've got stuff that are people that are doing period pieces. It's, you know, it's a wide range. So
what's number one bardic at Pennsic? You had to pick one bardic to not miss at Pennsic.
Actually, it was just a couple of nights ago.
Okay.
They had one in the East Kingdom. They actually had the East Royal had invited a bard from every kingdom that was on site.
Okay.
And so that was first, and then they just let anybody else who kind of walked in and hand in a token. So I kind of got in at the tail end, and because
snuck in on the back.
Yeah, I was like, hey, could I do this thing? So yeah. So it's some of them are, I've been walking by camps. There are bardics going on all over the place. Like at night, you'll just walk by a random camp, and we actually interrupted one across the street from us last night where we were going, hey, we're Artemisians. And they were in there doing a bard. Sometimes it's very quiet. Yeah. Right. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to interrupt your stuff. But yeah, really, really excited about looking at the different ones. Aslak will be one of my guests. He actually just took an apprentice for magic, his first apprentice at Uprising right before we came. So that'll be pretty cool. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And yeah.
Awesome. All right. So it is Pennsic 50. How many Pennsics have you been to?
This is the first.
This is your first Pennsic?
I'm a Pennsic virgin.
Me too. Oh, when did you get here?
I got here the very first day because I traveled with our camp land master.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we got here the very first day. First thing to do is go to the Beast and Boar. They sell out, but you get one of these mugs and it's free refills for the event.
It's not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. You can pay $2 for insurance. If you break it, you can bring it back with the pieces and they'll give you one more replacement. You break it the second time, you're SOL.
Right. Find someone else who bought insurance. Totally here. Take that with you.
So, but yeah, the Beast and Boar is a pretty cool thing, and I'm enjoying it. Biggest thing is all the walking. It's huge. It's huge.
So, so we went walking the first time. So we've been here since Friday with land agents as well, and we went walking that first, or I think the second night. We're like, oh, let's go walking, and Patron took us on a little tour. We get back and Keith is like, man, we walked all of Pennsic. And Patron's like, you're adorable.
Yes.
We walked like a tenth of Pennsic, maybe. Yeah. This place is friggin' huge. Like I haven't seen all of it yet.
There's so many hills, and like as soon as you think you're going downhill again, and it's like, oh, there's a little dip, and like, okay, here we go. Yeah. So everybody I've talked to says do a security shift.
Right. Keep hearing, do a watch shift.
Do
because
a
you get
watch
golf cart.
shift because you get a golf cart, and they have you do an hour in each section. So you
Okay.
actually get to kind of drive around and see that section of the war, and then go to the middle, and then go to the different one. And so apparently that's the best way, even than the bus, because you can go on some of the like.
Well, you also can control it a little better, and you can dip
Right.
in little holes.
Right.
And,
Well,
yeah.
and the bus can only go to so many places,
Right.
right? There are still roads that the bus can't go down. So yeah,
There's some roads I can't go down, frankly.
trust me. Yeah.
Walking up Cardiac Hill slightly intoxicated is not my idea of fun.
No. So yeah, the drumming is mostly in the bog for
Right.
the first week, and I've been walking up the hill every night or every morning.
Every morning. That's the sun. Oh no.
Yeah. 4 a.m., 4:30. Okay. I think I'll go back to camp now.
There you go. All right.
But yeah, so it's been fun.
I've
Been good so far.
I'm glad. So what was your thing you're looking forward to most for the next week? So we just started War Week. What's your like thing you're not going to miss this week?
This week I have been invited to go with their majesties to the hoity-toity party and be their heralds.
So fancy.
So I'm going to go and be the herald for the hoity-toity party. So I'm looking forward to that because, yeah, I finally I'm on their Highness's retinue now, and I got a chance to herald for them at Uprising. So I'm starting to do some higher level voice herald stuff. So yeah, kind of excited about that.
Saying the word higher level in His Majesty in the same sentence kind of scares me slightly.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
This is not to speak ill of certain kings of Artemisia. This is the man that had a flamethrower one time, allegedly.
That's
your mod you're talking about.
Yes.
I love Timmer so much.
Timmer
That man
was-
is nutters.
Timmer was talking last night, and he said something about somebody didn't know who he was. I'm like, what?
right.
Okay.
Someone didn't know who Sean was last night.
The Duke Sean?
Yes. He's
The
like,
Duke
so,
Sean?
so he's going, just go back to your camp and tell him you met this Sean guy.
The Sean guy.
Some guy named Sean.
So okay, funny Sean story. So speaking of the Duke Sean, so he's going to be squiring me on Tuesday for a day,
Oh, nice.
so I can fight in Squire's tourney, right?
You know,
Yeah.
it won't be a slacker day.
Oh, I know. So he told me yesterday, he's like, Cal, I got a Squire's belt for you. This Squire's belt has not fought at Pennsic in 37 years.
Oh, nice.
Because it was Sean's belt when he was a Squire last year. And that's the belt he's going to let me wear for the day. And I was like, oh, God. Oh, God. It is literally older than I am.
Wow.
Or last time it was worn is older than I am.
Yeah.
Who were you fighting for the roast tournament?
Yeah, I've already pissed off one of Sean Squires for that one. So then the next day for the roast tournament, I'll be fighting for Nisa, his lovely dear wife.
Good.
So yeah, and then so Jermaine will be serving as rapier champion for that one. So that's gonna be. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be a fun day. That's so I guess my highlights coming up is those two. So
Very nice.
excited to hang out with Artemisian buddies. I got to see the entire royal family. I ran into her Majesty incognito the first night.
Oh, yeah. She likes to do that.
Yeah. I would not have recognized her because she had her hat down and had a boy. And then somebody at the back was like, "Oh, it's Cal. Let me introduce you to people." And then said Tiana. I was like, "Oh God, Your Majesty, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
She's like, "Shut up, Cal." I was
Yeah,
like,
don't point that out.
"Stop embarrassing me." So,
She likes that.
She
So we will be going tonight. There is as soon as it gets dark, we're going to the fairy camp and watch them light all the fairy lights.
oh, the fairy lights. Yeah,
The
yeah,
Fairy
yeah.
War was last night.
The fairy war
That's
was last
what we
night.
heard.
All right. Who else has a fun Pennsic story for me? I'm gonna kick Jermaine out now.
You next.
Or kick Isgareth out and bring Jermaine over. Jermaine, you got a
Okay.
story for me?
None that I can share on the internet.
This is nobody's here. It's fun. Just ignore it.
Bye.
All right, come on, Keeson.
I'll come over. I just wanna say
All right, he's gonna come say hey. I gotta bring up a new mug.
I'll talk for a minute. You do.
All right.
Hey. Green cup, move down.
Green cup, move down. All right. So next up in the cups today is the Rainbow Cup from Crown and Chalice. Here at Pennsic, Crown and Chalice has a lot of these rainbow mugs in this style and like slashy ones with black behind them. There was one that I swear looked like a kid had drawn rainbows on it, which I think was really cool. And Kisa, tell us about your cup.
This is my new cup I got from Lobster Rose Pottery.
Yep.
It is currently one of the most period accurate items I own.
That
There's a
is
recreation.
Lobster Rose Pottery, one of the Countess Laurel Gwens of the known world. There are
Yes,
3 that we
There
are
are
aware of.
lots.
Bye, Artemisians.
Goodbye.
Go enjoy lunch.
Thank you for the
Of course, enjoy.
Thank
Please
you.
take some with you. There's plenty of tea. All right, so Kisa, you and I both got here the first Friday.
We did.
What has been your favorite Pennsic event so far?
Opening ceremonies yesterday was amazing. I got to I was very lucky at being my first time because I'm always like, oh, I'm in the back, I can't hear anything. And I got to step up to be the one retinue person for our crown and our heirs. So I got to be right up front for opening ceremonies, right behind. I got to hear and see everything and be like kind of a part of it, but you know, in the background. And it was amazing. All the people coming in and marching, and our heralds were singing as we were walking, and everyone said we looked nice. We were all matching in our black and whites, and
also I appreciate the Meridian representative today as well.
Yeah. I saw his vest.
Stole one of my vests for the day because it's hot today.
It is a hot day. I said I am not wearing much clothes today.
All right, so tell me more about opening ceremony. So walk me through the process. I missed it. I did get unfortunately ill yesterday. So I heard the lovely band because where we are in the One Paw and in Midlands camp, the battlefield is right there.
Yeah.
So we can hear all the stuff going on, hear the cannons firing, I swear to God, at us, frankly.
If we open our back door, we can watch the battle from our bed. It's great.
But I didn't get to see it. I did get to hear it. Tell me what you guys did from like start to finish. What was the process?
So everyone came up. So all the crowns, we all marched together. We got in line. We had to wait for everybody to get there. Everybody had scattered times when they started marching from their camps. And so everyone coming through, there were lots of people watching, smiling and waving, you know, doing all the fun things. And then waiting in line, going around chatting with friends and everything like that. That was fun. We were standing behind the West in line. So I got to see a lot of my Westie friends.
Right.
And that was nice. And then walked up, just the crowns went up and everybody else peeled off to the side. And then we went into the fort, or no, just the crowns went up, went off to the side. And then I got called forward to replace out who was the retinue because she got overheated. It was very hot. So I stood up with her, got to watch the rest of opening ceremonies from right behind the crown, which was amazing. Everybody would come up and it was just a line, but then there was something happening with arrows. So normally there is I'm going to butcher this.
No, tell us what you saw, and then Paterna can correct. This is good.
And the Paterna can explain things. There was a fancy representation of a horn that got blown by the first. Oh goodness, there were these two knights or something that had been there for like 37 Pennsics. They were like the first. Oh, sorry. They were like the first king and queen the first kings of East and Mid Rome, I believe.
Probably.
They were like the first
ones. This is an
ones.
East Middle War.
Yeah,
right?
So it was them two. They were the first ones for that first Pennsic, like 36 years ago to represent that.
Cool.
So they both blew the horn.
50 years ago. It's fine.
No, they were from 36 years ago. They did. I guess the people from 50 years ago might be dead. That's a long time ago.
That's a long time.
They're not.
Thankfully.
Okay. Anyway, so they had these two guys come up, blow the fancy horn. That happened, right? It was special. And normally there's like one arrow, and then like the winner, I think, gets the arrow. I'm not really sure, but this year they presented 2 arrows because basically
they declared peace this year, and there is no points.
So
there's
it's
no
just
winner.
a bring your best, and they're showing off to each other. So there were 2 arrows presented instead of the one that's normally done. So that was really neat. I didn't get the significance of it. A lot of people said all, so I'm guessing that's important.
I'm guessing that's important, right?
So they did that, and then they called up all of the crowns and said, who do you side with? And people said roaring stories. Some people louder than others, and they declared who they were siding with. But then there were other people.
Who are we siding with?
We are siding with Mid-Rome. I was very happy because that is where our queen is from.
That's true. I forgot.
Our queen is from there, so that is why we sided with Middle. I was quite happy that they were all nervous for me because I would be camping in enemy territory.
Right.
They were like, are you going to have to take down your flag and whatever? So, we're good. I'm not camping in enemy territory. Okay. So that went out really well. And apparently our king, Gellir, this is where he met Yasmin for the first time, was on the fighting field at Pennsic.
Well, that's adorable.
So, they told a nice little story about that. And so all the crowns declared who they were with and everything. But then they called up other people. I didn't really know who they were. Like the Two Chucks came up and declared. And there were some other households who declared, and there was a great dark horde who had
Yep,
more
great dark horde,
arrows
yep.
and declared who they were with. And the
Oh
coolest
God.
thing,
Okay. Thanks.
there were 2 messengers from China,
Oh, neat. Okay.
literally from China, from the far west, came out, read a scroll. They were in full, like 2 Chinese
yeah.
guys showed up from the
the Far West. Yeah.
No one knew they were there. They just announced, "Well, the far west, come forward," and everybody went, and
Dun,
they come
dun,
walking out
dun.
looking absolutely incredible, like the most amazing Chinese garb I've ever seen. Ancient Chinese garb. It was so cool, and they read their little thing and declared who they were with, and that was really neat.
That is cool. I
was
missed that now.
It was really cool.
I've seen some of the during COVID, they were doing a lot of the Far West stuff doing via Zoom because the Crown couldn't travel as much.
Yep.
So I get to watch one of the elevations they did over there via Zoom. Their setup's really cool. They have this one particular, it looks like a dojo of some sort of training facility that's set up that they do most of their broadcasts from.
Okay.
That's been really interesting because it serves as a really cool background for their events and stuff.
Yeah.
And they did filthy things and stuff in there. So I can only imagine bringing that over what that would look like.
So it was really neat. They were representatives of their, of their person, and they had a scroll, that they read, and
that's cool.
It was really neat. All of the girls oohed and awed over Lokak whenever he was talking with his wonderful Australian accent.
Oh yeah, he's pretty too though.
Our princess
He's
turned to Tim and was like, "Did you hear his accent?"
Did you just shh?
I mean,
not on camera.
Nothing. She's not watching. It's fine.
That's true. She's not.
I know her schedule.
Yeah, right.
She's watching the Champions Battle right now.
All right, so that's right. So yeah, today, if you're not here, we understand because you're probably at the Champions Battle. So the Allied Champions Battle for both heavy and rapier, I think, are going on today, as well as the unbelted champions, and something else is happening. The heroic champions battle is happening today. So lots of champions fighting today. There's also at least one vigil going to this evening for my dear Canadian friend Sophia, Baroness Sophia the Orange. She'll be going on vigil for her laurel this evening. There might be some other things happening that we can't talk about on camera yet.
There is something very important happening today. There's a very big important thing happening today.
There is a big important thing happening.
Today is Uncle Fergus's birthday.
Happy
birthday, Fergus.
So if you're around the West Camp later this evening, come by and find the big, tall, goofy, redheaded guy who you've seen here on Three Former Fat Guys and wish him happy birthday and kick him in the ass from me. He'll catch a couple from me too, but if you see him, kick him.
Yep.
I'll put a post out on Facebook later, and all of you out there, please chime in on it because Fergus has been just an instrumental part of this, of some of the shows here, and frankly is a hero of the West. I think
he really is. Yeah.
So
all right. I'm gonna tap out. Let Patrona come in.
Come on, Patrona. Oh, new cup. All right, so I'm gonna tell you a story about these cups. So we went to we ended up at Lobster Rose. At one point, we left there. There were 3 of us. I was carrying 6 cups by myself. They also both had cups in their hands.
And then we went back.
They weren't all purchased there. All right, so my cup, which has water in it for some weird reason.
It's important to hydrate at Pennsic.
Apparently, hydrating is the thing. This is from Feed the Ravens. So this is their current penis cups they are selling. It has a weird little bottom on it and is all glazed, and the penises have legs. I don't understand ancient Roman pottery, but there you go. Patrona, what are you drinking out of there?
I also have a Feed the Ravens mug. I went with the nipple mug. We're staying on theme.
That's right. It's a box full of dirty themes here. So, Patrona, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Magistra Patrona of the Mid-Realm. I am a court baroness and a pelican. And allegedly keeping them out of trouble.
She's not doing a good job of it.
Terrible job.
She's the one in charge of us.
She's the one alleged. She is the purest peers of us and is not doing a good job keeping me out of trouble. So, Patrona, this is your how manyth war?
I think 12th.
12th war? Okay.
A Pennsic specifically.
12th Pennsic specific. That's what I meant, yeah. So you are the Pennsic adult here. At some point, she had like 6 Pennsic versions with her.
8. It was 8.
Was it 8 at one point? She only broke one of them.
Sorry.
So tell us stories, Patrona. Go ahead.
So as Cal mentioned, we all went out on a walkabout their first fall evening Saturday here. And it was me, one other gentleman who'd been to Pennsic before, and 8 folks who had never done that. So we camp hopped a little bit and then headed down for a quick tour of the bog, got down to the pleasure pavilions, one of them went, "Ooh, I want to go drumming," and bounced into the crowd. I had been specifically put in charge of 2 people by the King of the East. That was one of them.
Because this is after we had already formed the amoeba of like 5 kingdoms, too.
Right, yes.
Because this one amoeba had like 5 kingdoms represented in it.
Right.
So the East Kingdom had one of their champions was there.
Two actually.
2 of their and Patronal was told, don't let them die until after Sunday. Because after Sunday, they're fine. They can die.
And one of them went, "Ooh," and bounced into the crowd. And then the other went, "Ooh, my squire's sister," and chased him.
Yeah.
So I chased them.
Leaving me and one of the other newbies at the top of the hill.
And he went, "Ooh, better chase her." And not the other fella, not this one.
Yeah. So I took a few steps down the hill, and I see our good friend Chagaday going rolling down past me. I went, "Oh no, that's not good."
So I finished my night in the medical tent with him, and Cal brought Elisa's lovely wife up, and we managed to get everybody off to the hospital where they needed to be.
Our first experience was having to call them to come down to Vlad's Buzzer Pavilion and pick up Chagaday because he could not walk because, as we found out much later, he broke his tibia just below the knee. Turns out you can't do that and be at Pennsic. So this was his first Pennsic ever, his 6th event ever, and he's from California. We're in Pennsylvania. Oh, hi, Dad. How you doing out there? So he had to fly back to California the next day. His stuff's being packed up, and we miss him and Elise very dearly.
And we feel real bad.
Feel really bad about it.
I was in charge.
All right. So, other stories. So Kisa told us a story about opening ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to correct from her story about opening ceremonies?
She had basic facts about right. The war arrows do come from the Great Dark Horde. Mm-hmm. That is very ceremonial. That is
which is a mercenary house sort of thing.
Correct. Okay. It's kind of the last ditch opportunity for the East and the Middle to bury the hatchet before the war starts, to come to accord. When that doesn't happen, the arrow gets broken. Okay. And we are at war. And then there's the war horn as well. That is presented by House Darkyard. And that has been a long-standing tradition. As long as I've been here, many years before that, and I know my good friend Master Rocco blew that for the opening ceremonies, as he often does. Right. And it's a stirring sound. It's not something you get to hear all the time.
Yeah, I heard it again from here. You hear the war, you're like, "Oh, that's kind of neat sounding," you know.
And it will likely be on display later this week at the Pennsic 50 display, where people can get a look at the history of it and see the carvings because they're lovely.
There's a new runestone that got carved this year for Pennsic 50 as well, which I thought was really neat to look at. So because there is a runestone hill that has one on it currently.
It has one.
It will now have 2, I guess. Yep. So what's the first one? When is the first one?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know which potter carved it, but I do not know when.
The other Pennsic question I'm going to ask you before I ask your favorite event.
Okay.
So because you have insider knowledge of how Pennsic started.
Yes.
So tell us a story about how Pennsic started, because this is one of my favorite Pennsic stories, actually.
All right. So a king of the middle, a Crydock of the bow, got a good idea that it'd be a great idea to fight the neighbors, the East Kingdom.
Which was before Ethelmark existed.
It was before Ethelmark existed. So the legend says that he sent a challenging letter to the King of the East, who apparently went, "Yeah, neat," and set it aside in the royal regalia and forgot about it.
As you did. Yeah.
No response. Apparently was beneath his notice. Then, sometime thereafter, not very long, that same Crydock of the bow moves to the East Kingdom, where he wins crown tournament, becomes King of the East, and opens the letter from himself.
Right.
Thereby declaring war on himself.
Yes. So the King of the Middle wrote a letter and then later became King of the East and declared war on himself. And I love that.
So he was guaranteed to both lose and win in a certain fashion.
And that's now we have 51, I guess, because they missed one. 50 Pennsics later, we have Pennsic. Mm-hmm. I love that. That's just like, frankly, that's a proper SCA thing to do, is us declaring war on ourselves. That's the stupidity of the game we play. It's like they call Gulf Wars
the farcical, yes.
Right. Well, they call Gulf Wars the war with no enemies, because at the end of the day, we don't even know who won half the time. We just don't care. It's just fun. All right. So you've been here for a week and a day less than
weekish,
us.
yes.
Yeah. What has been your favorite Pennsic memory so far this year?
That you can share safely on the internet.
Right.
Yes, you can share safely and legally on the
That's
internet.
the problem.
Or if you have a story from the past, I'll take a story from the past as well. Your favorite
All right.
Pennsic memory?
My favorite Pennsic moment ever then?
Sure.
A number of years back, I had been up at a party up on the B blocks, which is on the other side of the battlefield from where we currently are.
Mhm.
And I have always camped in this location. This was the camp where the One Paw Tiger Inn originally started, was up there. I'd been up there hanging out with folks. It was roughly 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I walked myself back across the battlefield, which is a fairly large open expanse. Fog had come in and settled. I don't like fog, and it was a very, very heavy fog. It was heavy enough that I could not see 4 feet in any direction. I was just walking in a swirl of fog, and then it broke above me, and the moon was just right there. And all I could see was the moon shining down in a tunnel of fog and then hear the drums. And it was that perfect medieval moment where I am all alone in this world, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is just outside of reach. It was very ethereal.
That's cool. And I think so. So you and I've been to a couple wars together now. Ontario West versus this. There's some differences in the medieval feel, right?
Absolutely.
Ontario West war has that feel. There's been a couple spots here though. Would you like just sitting here right now? You're like, there's mundane tents around me. There's buses rolling around. There's cars. It doesn't have that feel. But there's been a couple of these spots where that fog rolls in.
Mhm.
You're like, oh, there it is, and you feel it. Yeah. I mean, yeah. No, I was gonna yell at Emmanuel next if he didn't know it. So you're coming up next, buddy.
All right, $1 billion water.
Oh, you got plenty of time. Well, I got as long as the internet works, we got time. So, but I think, it's really interesting walking around these wars because you'll get this, like Great Western War is another great example. It's that it feels like a ring fair until you get to certain spots and you're like, oh, there it is. Cool. And the drums are in the background, the fog's rolling on the ground. You're like,
and I haven't
there
even
it
gotten
is.
you two down to the lake with the temple and everything.
Right.
Yet. And we're
there's
going
a
to
whole
do
temple
that.
in the lake and things like that.
And that's another one of those moments. If you get the fog rising up off the lake, it's pretty amazing.
If you're at Pennsic this year, I'll give them a shout out because this thing. So, so there's a couple different scavenger hunt things happening here at Pennsic. There is the actual Pennsic passport that's done at Information Point, but there's also Gil the Marandola, which is a like limners. They sell paper and scraps things and parchment and paints and whatnot.
Scribble things.
Which I'm glad my wallet wasn't in my pocket when Kisa went in there, or I would have no money anymore. Because they have like actual parchment that's like old British
Several
documents
100 years old.
that you can just
reuse.
scrape it off and reuse it. Apparently, that's a thing you weird scribes do. Anywho, if you go in there and ask them about the Camino de Pennsic, it is their own personal pilgrimage that they've set up with a bunch of the merchants and other like pointed locations around Pennsic. And you go and talk to the guild bureaucrat, and he walks you through this whole process and gives you a number and gives you a whole thing. Ask you if you're going to be traveling on foot or on horseback, because I have a horse at Pennsic, clearly. But then you walk around and find the merchants, and you get little stamps, like an actual pilgrimage stamp, or stickers,
Or thumbprints.
or it's an actual clay thumbprint from a potter, because that's pretty period, actually. So it's a pretty neat thing. You get some cool stories from the merchants, and play it up. It's a fun thing, but look for these little seashells, and when you finish it, you can actually go and get a seashell medallion from somewhere. I don't know where yet. There's apparently a cathedral somewhere.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
get there.
so that's the thing we got to figure out today. But yeah, so if you're at here, go find Gil Marandola, look them up. Anything else to share?
That's it, I think.
Awesome.
We got a whole nother week for more fun and
Oh my God.
ridiculousness.
Yeah, we woke up and was like, yay, it's war week. Oh my God, we have another week still. Oh, it's fun. So anyways, all right, I need coffee.
Coffee, your creamer is up in the tent. And it's okay.
Can you get me coffee and creamer in
You're treating the tea.
this cup? That cup is gross. That cup.
You want it in the gross cup.
Yeah, clean it first.
Who do you think I am?
Not a savage, obviously. All right.
She's next. No, I'm not. Okay.
Would you like to be next?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's the internet. It's fine. All right.
It's fun.
That's not a disclaimer.
No, I don't have any good stories.
That's fair. Is this your first Pennsic?
No.
Then you have stories then.
Not really.
Okay. All right. So 34 minutes in. Apparently my Facebook stream isn't working. So thank you for those watching on YouTube. I'm not sure why Facebook's being janky today, but we're here. So soon we'll be joined by Emmanuel from the One Paw Tiger Inn. He is currently draining a cooler, so we'll give him a few minutes.
I can be a placeholder.
You're coming out from it?
I'll come hang out until maybe here.
Keith is going to come back.
I'm gonna come back.
I'm mad.
Hey,
Certain
I'm
Baron
back.
Logans are not here to hang out with me on the internet.
Probably at the Allright Champions.
It's probably the Allright Champions battle.
Probably. That sounds like something he'd do.
All right, that battery's dead. Cool,
Uh-oh.
cool. It's okay. That's what we're doing.
Intermission music.
Yep.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
This is a live show. Nope. That one's not working at all.
Oh no.
Oh, it's fine. I got it.
Oh, okay, you got it. All
Patronus
right.
thing is just hard to work. You can't hold the button down. You have to push it.
Mm-hmm. She's difficult.
She's difficult. All right.
She walked away, so I can say that.
Oh, here. Okay. I'll use this mug for a second. All right. So I'm going to tell a story about this mug.
Oh, there you go. Tell
My
a
dad
story.
says nice hat.
Oh, thanks.
Because I'm not wearing a hat.
You're not. You,
On
took
the
it.
internet.
You were supposed to wear it because I was wearing the vest that matched
That's
your hat.
fair. We'll get it in a minute.
Okay.
So this mug here was a payment. I'm not going to call it a gift. It's a payment from Baron Sampson, who has been on 3 Fat Guys with me and is also one of the Allied champions today. He thieved my party cornet the other night because apparently I promised to make him one multiple times and have not made him one. He finally said, "I'm taking this one." I said, "Sure, Sampson, you can have that one. You must pay me something of an appropriate value." So this is the mug he paid me.
It's a very nice mug.
After 3 days of bothering him. But it's a very nice little mug. It's a good drinking mug. It's got heft to it. It's made of wood. And I'm very happy with it.
It'd be great for fighting. It won't get broken
It's a
as
good
easily.
field side mug, I think.
Yeah,
I think I'll
it would
put it
be.
in my field kit.
Yeah.
So happy about that. Yeah. So Kisa, we got a week coming up.
We do.
What's the next thing you're looking forward to?
Oh goodness. The next thing I am looking forward to. Monday's gonna be fun.
What's Monday?
Tomorrow,
obviously.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. Yep. There are lots of things happening tomorrow.
Okay.
I will be working retinue for Her Highness Ismay. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to some classes, and then we will be doing a Moonshine Monday, hanging out in
Correct.
camp, drinking moonshine, a little Gulf Wars tradition of ours
Yep.
that we're bringing to Pennsic.
Moonshine Meridies Mondays.
Yep.
It's
And
another
then we
Meridies.
have our in-camp party.
Yep. So
Our
if you're at Pennsic tomorrow evening, Midlands at home. We have spaghetti dinner. We'll have beer from the One Paw and some Buzz Bomb Brewing, and
Mhm.
there'll be assorted snacks and
We have
things and
games,
stuff.
chandeliers. It'll be fabulous.
Yeah, I hate I can't show. Find me on TikTok later at Kal-bardr. I'm going to do a tour of camp in a little bit to show the infrastructure things. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, sorry. I thought the table wobbled. Did it?
The world wobbled. All right, Emmanuel, I'm ready when you are, sir.
He's getting his coffee.
Cool.
Pour God's nectar.
Get it, man.
It is coffee with cow. You got to have
It's
coffee.
You got to have coffee.
I already had 2 coffees.
Right.
I have moved on to alcohol.
Kick out.
All right. Goodbye.
Is it as good as mine? The coffee is better than yours, my father. Yes. I guarantee you.
coffee.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Emmanuel. Welcome to the internet.
Thank you.
So, everybody, this is Emmanuel. He is the owner and proprietor of the One Paw Tiger Inn, or one of the owners of One Paw Tiger Inn.
Yep.
Introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, and why the One Paw is amazing.
I'm Emmanuel von Brandenburg. I'm out of the Shire of Sortcliffe, which in the mundane world is Springfield, Illinois. The One Paw Tiger Inn is my bar, along with a few others. I've got some other bar owners. We started this because we joined the SCA, started fighting. We were already pros at drinking.
Right.
But
We're good at that around here. Yeah.
We brought our skills here. So we started throwing parties in the SCA and slowly building up a camp to do so. And we started making mead because we had some really good mead and we wanted to make our own. We found that mead wasn't very good. What's the rating on this podcast?
Oh no, you're good. Hold on. I'll put the banner up. There you go. Go for it.
So the first 2 batches.
Hold on. You're going to tell the bukkake story in a minute. So
I
that's,
will.
I'll set the bar for you there. You're good.
First 2 batches were named "Piss the Bed" and "Shit the Shower."
Nice. Okay.
So they were not good. So we decided, you know what, we're going to try to make beer. So we started making beer. And it turned out that we were really good at that. And we started building up our camp. The One Paw Tiger Inn was born. I'll jump ahead for a second. Eventually, our beer and our equipment got good enough that we started a brewery in the real world. And it's called Buzz Bomb Brewing Co. in Springfield, Illinois. So
that's Buzz Bomb Brewing. Look them up. Buy their stuff. They're awesome. I'll say that. Quick intermission here. I don't like beer. They made, what was the one you had? The red one? First night.
What makes the grass grow?
The What Makes the Grass Grow beer. I drank it and went, huh, that's actually not terrible, which for me that's a compliment. So not terrible. The one called Scat Cat, I'm still concerned about. But anyways, continue, please.
Well, we have a lot of mottos, but one of them is if you're going to do it, you might as well overdo it. So
sure.
with the One Paw Tiger Inn, we were not satisfied with a bar tent, which we have one. We're in it right now. It's a 20 by 30 pavilion that we have filled with furniture that we made, a bar that we made, chandeliers that we made, a back bar that we made, and plenty of alcohol. But that wasn't enough. So we went ahead and added an oval tent that we use as the entrance, and then a round tent that we call the ball pit that is filled with cushions and pillows, and you can just lay and recline in there. Or when the flaps close, who knows what goes on in there.
Right.
And finally a kitchen tent that has a massive kitchen that we have fed as many as 400 people with.
Wow.
And we put all those together in a square with a giant courtyard, and that's the One Paw Tiger Inn. Right. So
this is like the One Paw Tiger Inn baby currently.
We're in what we call One Paw Light.
One Paw Light.
Just
okay.
brought the bar tent.
Yeah.
Yep. So at the One Paw, when we set up an event, we pick a night for our main party night, and then we have an open bar. We have beer. We have games. That's usually when we cook. But two of our most famous are Hammerschlagen, where you drive the nails in, and drunken jousting.
Right.
Which is you get a hobby horse between your legs. Okay. You get a foam lance, and you get a red Solo cup. They're not a cup of shame in this game. It's required. Right. And it's filled with beer, by tradition PBR. Wow. And then we have a list, and you joust down the list, bouncing on your hobby horse. If you drop the horse, you're disqualified, and you try to knock out the opponent's beer. We have a marshal in charge who also by tradition is Duke Palomar, another one of the owners of the One Paw. Ask me how that happened later.
Okay. Not suitable for the internet. Understood.
So the marshal in charge will check the beers and determine a winner. And so, we get a champion throughout the night, and subsequent years we'll have, champion spouts for returning champions. But what I didn't mention was what happens when you lose.
Right.
So if you lose at Hammerschlagen or you lose at drunken jousting, you get what's called a dirty sock.
Right.
So dirty. I'm just going to go ahead and tell the secret.
Which I was told when I first got here, there were very few rules of the bar. One of which, last guy out turns off the chandeliers.
Yep.
But also, you can never refuse a dirty sock, or else you have to leave.
Yep. We will hit the bar rules right after the dirty sock. So dirty sock is 3 liquors, and the bartender turns around, grabs 3 bottles, and that's what you get. However, we plan those bottles, and we know where they are, and we grab the same ones.
It's not actually random, but
so the base is always Malort, and then the other 2 vary event to event. But they're typically something awful. I personally, in a really hot event, like to make one of them a little pumpkin spice liqueur, because that goes nicely in 100-degree weather.
The basic white bitch of me appreciates that. Thank you.
So you mentioned the bar rules. Every event we do a chalkboard with all our rules. The first rule is always you cannot refuse a dirty sock. If you do, you're out. Yeah. You don't want to play. It's simple, and the last is rules do not apply to bar owners.
That's right.
And then everything in between varies. But some of my favorites are you are the entertainment, so act like it.
Okay.
We're not happy till you're not happy. Safety third.
Safety third, yes.
Yeah. So those are a few good ones. And then we usually have some in jokes for the particular event.
Sure. Speaking of this particular event, this Pennsic, I want to hear your favorite Pennsic memory.
Oh, okay.
That you can tell legally on the internet.
There's quite a few, but as I mentioned, the One Paw has been going on for a few years, and we have some other owners. My buddies Bill, Yoder, Baroness Apona, Tristan, Palomar, as previously mentioned. And we typically have exploits whenever we set up. And in that entrance and in the ball pit, we have silk banners where all of our most memorable experiences are forever enshrined in paint on these banners. So you can come in and they're numbered with years, so you can see what has happened. But there's a few. There was the Pennsic where we learned to time travel. That was a great one. Bill and I were in the bog, and we were pretty drunk, and we needed to get back to camp. we came upon Cardiac Hill, and we weren't sure how we were going to get up it. So,
which Cardiac Hill is about that straight up and paved, unfortunately. Continue.
So we thought about it, and we thought, all right, we need to be superheroes to do this. So we took our pants off, we tied them around our necks as capes so we could become superheroes.
Obviously.
And then we thought, with a hill this size, one cigarette will not do it. So we need a cigarette for each hand. And then with our capes, we proceeded up the hill. At that point, we time traveled, and then we were in camp, and it was magic because there's no memory of anything in between. So we mastered time travel that night. It was pretty cool.
Or at least teleportation, if nothing else. Yeah. Because that's not a quick jaunt from Cardiac Hill to here. Like, that's not a quick trip. No.
Well, in this one, we were on BO6. We were camping with the Von B's that year, but it's a similar distance.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's still a trek. So
yep. That was a good one. That is immortalized. There was another favorite Pennsic memory where we met the mayor, and that was because we set some things on fire.
So Pennsic does have a mayor because I've mentioned this before. Legally, there are enough people in this area for long enough per year that this qualifies as an actual city that has to have a mayor and like an actual post office.
We wrote 10,000.
It's a whole thing. Apparently, we're at 10 grand, and it's still just starting more week. So yeah, there's a lot of freaking people here.
So that year, the back bar, which was filled with liquor and had been drank, was a bookshelf, and it was broken. So we weren't going to take it home. So we're like, cool, we'll burn it in the fire pit. Too big to fit in the fire pit. So we just kind of laid it over the fire pit, thinking that the middle will burn and it'll just kind of ramp into the pit. Instead, what happened was a wind tunnel was created and a huge bonfire ensued, hot enough that some nearby tents may have got a little melty. And a lot of black smoke came out,
right,
which attracted the mayor and the fire department. Now, thankfully, nothing was actually in danger because we were watching it terrified.
Yeah. Going, oh God, because there's not like running water easily available. Yeah.
So we got a visit, and they saw that it was more or less under control, and they're like, okay, carry on. And they said, okay, what camp is this? Now, I will not name names, but keep in mind that we were not over here. We were in the Von B camp.
Right.
And someone says, Midlands.
It's like yelling, oh, no, sorry, Ootlands.
And we were all like, yeah.
Go with that. Yeah. That is a.
I'm not going to name names on who did that, but
I think that's a proper like SCA thing to do. If you mess up something, just name someone else. So we're gonna yell Ootlands or Midlands, and it works out great. Ootlands. Oh, sorry, Ootlands.
So I gave you some bonus memories there.
That's good stuff, man. I like that.
Also immortalized in a banner.
I need to see these banners later. I saw like, are they all up?
They're actually no, those are the pennants.
That's the people. Yeah.
Since we didn't put up the ball pit or the oval, the one paw banners, those are all in the trailer.
So yeah, I saw you roll one out when you were looking through banners. You had that's some stories thing. So I saw it, but I know you'll have it at Baroness Wars.
We will.
So I'm looking forward to seeing it all there when I get to come up for Baroness Wars and get the full one paw experience.
Yes. So plug for Baroness Wars. It is the weekend after Labor Day. So I think the 8th, 9th, 10th.
Correct.
It is Baroness Wars 10. So that is a milestone. It is also a tournament of chivalry, and it will be the 10th year of the one paw being there as well. So.
And it's in Taylorville, Illinois, in Mid-Realm. It is called Baroness Wars because of the history. However, I will say they are allowing. So Friday night there's a torchlight tourney that is Coronet Wars for that. So it's encouraging anyone who is a Baron or higher to sponsor champions for it. I will be sponsoring champions. Her Excellency will be as well. So excited to both be there and fight in it and sponsor my first champion ever.
Who I think you stole.
I did steal. I stole Monster from Patrona because Monster likes me better, so it's fine. All right, Emmanuel, I have one last story to ask of you. So the other night we went traveling.
Yes.
With one of your beers, and I was hired officially as the herald for the one paw for the evening. But please tell the audience what I had to herald for you and why it's hilarious.
So I had an idea while we were drinking, which is where the best
ideas come from. Yes.
One of the beers we brought was called Hoppy Bukkake. BuzzBomb does a smash series, single malt and single hop. So it's a very light beer backbone. And then it's meant to showcase one particular hop. So we'll do different ones. We'll do like a Mosaic, a Citra, and Amarillo, and they will taste very different. And it's the hop is the only difference. So we were trying to figure out what to name this. It's this very hoppy beer. The hops are hitting you in the face repeatedly, and we're like hoppy bukkake. They're
Hitting you in the face repeatedly.
Yes. So we had a keg of that, and I thought, it would be fun. Let's put this keg in a cart. Let's drag it down to the bog. Go see our good friend Sir Drew at the Pleasure Pavilions and bukkake him.
Yeah.
And we decided that not only was that a great idea, but we should also stop at all of our friends' caps along the way and have our trusty Harold announce that bukkake was available.
Yes.
And so we did drag this wagon to the bog, which is no small trip, over gravel, over hills and through the woods.
Losing your Harold and part of your party at one point.
We did. We did. And then we finally blew the bukkake at the intersection before Gabriel's Landing. We were trying to bukkake Gabriel's Landing, but didn't quite make it.
It's just, sometimes as you're getting older, ran out of steam. So, no. So I signed on to go to the Pleasure Pavilion and do this, right? And I'm thinking, oh, these are people that are crazy. They'll expect it. They're not worried about it. Then on the way, they're like, oh, no, we want to also go into this Mid-Realm Royal adjacent camp where their Highnesses Mid-Realm were staying.
Yeah, we're like, let's
go
like, Dark Yard.
Yeah, it's just Dark Yard. It's fine. So I put on the doofy hat and did the whole thing. And just Duke Branos hanging out. He's like, oh, hi, Cal. I was like, oh, Your Grace. Good to see you here. So, yeah, that was my first meeting of those people.
Branos, big friend of craft beer. Hit 2 thumbs up from him.
So
that's
good.
Always a good response. Yeah. Then for funsies as a bonus, we decided to bukkake the Brotherhood of Steel after that. Count Severick, another awesome dude. He liked the beer a lot too, but before they had some, he had to pull me aside and be like, is this okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's Buzz Bomb. And he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's good.
He's like, okay, guys, yes, you can have some.
Right.
Because that is something at Pennsic. If somebody comes up to you and offers you something you don't know what it is, you are right to question it.
Correct.
But yeah, once I was like, no, that's a keg of Buzz Bomb. He's like, okay, yep, we're good.
Yeah, I've heard tales of the strawberry surprise that you do not drink at Pennsic. If it says surprise in it, you don't drink it. The surprise is there's antifreeze if you're not careful, apparently. There was cheese water the other night when we were there.
Now that I
weird.
did try, and I was like,
it was just Gatorade. It apparently was just Gatorade. So, hey, Ulrich, you want to come talk on the internet? Okay. All right. Anybody else want to come talk on the internet? Where's His Excellency Avery at?
Oh, he bolted.
He bolted. He ran away from me.
I'm gonna go eat my sandwich.
Go eat your sandwich, Manuel. Thank you for showing.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Anybody else? We have a Pennsic. Aren't you a Pennsic virgin? You want to come tell a Pennsic virgin story? You got any fun stories to share? No. Okay. All right.
I've just been tagging along with these guys. I've been trying to make sure that I have stories by the end of the trip.
Hand me my big doofy hat. I'm being asked for my big doofy hat. Nope, not that one. The spiderweb one. Yep, hand me those. I'll end the show with my big doofy hats on. Because I see Runa's out there watching now. Hi, Runa. And apparently, according to Karhu, the best way to drink Malort is while chewing on black salted licorice, which sounds terrible in two different directions.
We could just get Black Death from the Swedes,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing.
Exactly. Drink the Black Death from the Swedes, and you'll hate your life even more. There you go. Big doofy hat's back on. All right, so.
I do have one other fun story.
Oh, come on, shit. I mean, bring it back. If you bring your sandwich with you, I don't care.
No, I'll eat it over there. I'll just throw one other quick story. So you heard earlier that Patrona was dragging a gaggle of virgins around. So I've been doing that too.
Right.
I planned to come here with 4.5 virgins. And then, so I planned out particular parties to take them to and Pennsic things that I didn't want them to miss. And so once other people found out that I was doing this, I inherited a lot of other virgins and we've been rolling instead of like 4.5 deep, like 12 to 15. So it's been quite a big group. So we have a little group call where we'll and
we still got lost.
And we still got lost. Yeah,
but we got better. After that night, we have not.
Yeah, it was a prototype night. Okay,
we have not lost a man yet, except Alexi. But we thought he came back.
Okay. So you've not
and
lost one except when you did. Okay, got you.
And he followed us. So wait, what was my story? I said it.
The virgins. Okay.
Yes. So this is back to one of the other one paw owners, Baroness Epona. So she heard about this and she's like, you need to make it a thing, like a manual on the 8 virgins or whatever, as we travel around. And then she made a scavenger hunt for them of tasks to complete at Pennsic. So there's a lot of fun things on them. Tried to give them some hints because there's things like drink for something dead, earn something with a song, a few others. She wanted them to play the meow game at Troll, but I don't think anyone did it.
No.
So
They don't have sense of humor at Troll right now.
Yeah,
They're busy. Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a list. And then just some fun things like climb Mount Iceland, eat at the Beast and Boar, stuff like that. But so Baroness Epona, she made a really fun list for all those virgins to go and try to work through.
That's awesome. I think that's the way to see things is have someone who knows it give you a list. That's why I like the things.
And here's
I'm pulling Alexi on the internet. Alexi, please come have a seat with me.
The man that we lost.
We haven't actually even met yet, but I've heard stories about you.
I did not lose them. They lost me. I stood there with a beer in my hand, watching them walk off without me, and a puzzled look like, am I the only one left?
All right, before I introduce Alexi, I'm going to introduce my last cup. This is this is actually Sifa's cup. I bought it for her, but it's covered in vulvas. This is also from Lobster Rose because you can't just have penises. Got to be equal opportunity. So there you go. Back to my tea because it was lovely. So Alexi, first of all, hi, I'm Cal. We haven't actually met yet, but I've heard stories about you. Please introduce yourself to the internet and who you are and why you're awesome.
Why I'm awesome. I don't know if I can go in that depth, but I'm Alexicratus, full name Alexicratus Typhalis, and I'm from over in Illinois. Probably obvious because we're here in the Midlands camp. Yeah. Barony at Carrickbon. I'm awesome because I'm me.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm gonna tell you the story I've heard about you.
Oh, boy.
And then you to actually fill in the full story.
All right.
So I hear that you like to hit women with pillows.
Hit women with pillows.
That you have been mean to my dear Patrona and Sierra with pillows.
Right.
While being blindfolded.
The Ragnarok now tradition Barony pillow fight.
Yes.
Which is Friday nights before the big Ragnarok event. And it's funny because up until this year, it was either me or Sierra, who is another Midlands woman, who would always win. And this year was hilarious, especially Tiberius, who is actually camping in this camp. Yeah, somewhere. Anyway,
there's people everywhere here.
He, if this was real combat, would have massacred half of the audience.
Okay.
He put that blindfold on and started break dancing and ran right into the crowd.
Oh God. Okay.
But yeah, so I do like hitting women with pillows.
That's there you go. So what are the rules to this game? Like,
well, so it's kind of changing. Like this year was the first year we had enough like children that wanted to participate that we had to kind of like, do something separate for them and have two separate prizes. But it's basically what happens is you get into the center of the ring. Yeah, make sure your blindfold is on so you can't see, or else you're a dirty cheater.
Right.
You have your pillows, which are pre-prepared by the barony so that they're exactly the same.
Sure.
And then
match weapons, of course, prepare this.
And then the Baron, who at this time is Honda, will walk up and basically fuck with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but the best one from this past year was he had the participants at the time, which was Sierra's sister and I forget who her opponent was, but made them spin around really fast 10 times, go over to a person in the audience, which one of them was me. And the audience member had to give them 3 math problems that they had to solve before they were allowed to start fighting. And that was pretty hectic. And then there's other ones like he'll be like, okay, you can fight, but you're only allowed to crab walk.
Oh God.
Or
okay.
For the finals last year, it was you and I, and it was commando crawl.
Oh yeah, was that
you
it?
got me because your reach is like 14 inches longer than mine.
You got the long arms. All right, so which Pennsic is this for you? How many
First.
Pennsic? This is your first Pennsic
This
ever?
is my first Pennsic.
And you just got here like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to this week?
Fighting. It's War Week.
What's your favorite fight? Like, what's the one fight, if you had to miss all the other ones, one fight you're not going to miss?
Oh, already made it. It was the Paul Arm tournament yesterday.
Okay, how'd you do?
If I remember correctly, I tied for 3rd or 4th.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. What's your preferred pole arm style?
6 foot, and I treat it like a spear. And actually, it's very annoying to my knight, Sir Ish, because I only call it a spear, even though the nomenclature in the SCA means a spear is a 9 foot.
Correct.
But my 6 foot pole arm, it's small, it's fast, and that's pretty much all I use because I can't really lift a shield, and so I've just been fighting with that pole arm for going on 9 years now, and I've gotten really good with it.
Nice. That's good to know. We'll talk later because I fight spear offhand, so we'll chat a little.
I used to fight. Sword and spear.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to be heralding for Adamar up in Avakal, and that's how he fights crowns.
Oh yeah.
That's his fighting style: spear and shield. And that's his
it.
like preferred style. It's like you're nuts, but okay.
Yeah. I'd do spear and shield if I could lift a shield. So
Right,
it's
that's
sword
fair.
and spear.
Sword and spear is why you got me. And so awesome, Alexis. Appreciate you for jumping in here without knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
Come in. All right. It has been an hour. Or I'm going to go ahead and we're going to sign off. We have a whole more week of Pennsic left. If you're here, please come find me. So many more stories to tell, so many more stories to experience. But let's see. Coming up next on Kal-bardr's Corner, I don't even know. I don't have all things loaded. Look up Griffin's Tea if you're at Pennsic, or look them up on Facebook. I'll share stuff out on Facebook later for them. They're amazing people. They're awesome. Look up the One Paw Tiger Inn and Buzz Bomb Brewing if you're around the Illinois area. If you can't, look them up anyways and send them messages of how awesome they are. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/KK Productions. Join our grand wall of patrons. We'll be sending out new rewards after Pennsic is over. And of course, look us on my Redbubble, search KK Productions. But for now, that cup's empty. That cup is empty. That cup is empty. We've got lots of empty cups here. I have been Cal. This has been lots of people. It's been a fun day. Y'all have a good one. See you guys.